In the list of people, there's a little serpent in the garden. Isn't there always a serpent in the garden? It's this wonderful, beautiful thing. God is restoring the Jews. He's given them favor in the eyes of the king who sent them back government expense to rebuild the temple. Everybody's rejoicing. It's a wonderful, wonderful day for what God is doing. And then Ezra is listing, or somebody's listing all the people that come back. Look, of all verses, who shows up in verse 13 of chapter 2? Is it Ezra chapter 2, verse 13? So, part of the Jews that come back, the children of Adonikam, which means Adoni is my Lord. Kam is translated different ways, rebellion or rising, like rising taken in the sense of rebellion. So, my Lord of the rising, my Lord of the rebellion. He's in verse 13. How many kids does he have? 666. That's a Jewish guy. So that's why some people have said that the Antichrist might be one of the people that have returned from the captivity or will return from a captivity in the future. You know, in X-Men, Magneto, the big evil guy, he's a Jewish guy that survives the Holocaust. There's nothing new under the sun. Yes, sir?
Is it normal that in Nehemiah it says that there's 600 priests born 7?
Yes. So there's changes. So we will get to that. There are differences between the register of Nehemiah and Ezra, forgive me, precisely because it's done years later. So years later, there's going to be differences in the register. Okay. It's like my dad. Some of us born in the other countries, it's kind of easier for us to reconcile those things. My father is recorded as being born April 22nd, I believe, 1950. Okay. But then when we went up to his hometown and we checked the baptismal, because they baptized babies there. He was born in the house in my hometown, Deir al-Amr. And in there, he's registered as October 13th, 1949. All right? Yeah, so, but it's like that for a lot of people because he's born up in the mountain. By the time you register him in the capital, they're not, if he's born in October, we're not going to go down in October to Beirut. We'll go down in April. We'll register him then. So if Ezra shows up and he picks up the register from the hometown, then he records it and says 1949. Nehemiah comes a few years later, he picks up the Beirut register. He says, no, April 22nd, 1950. And then somebody picks up both, says, see, there's a contradiction. And I'd say, no, there isn't contradiction. It's two different registers, and that's what used to happen back. And so a lot of Bible contradictions are exactly like this. The guy pointed to this contradiction. No, it's just a register that was written a few years later, and the information in it changes. Some people die, some people are born, some people get married. Sometimes it's a correction of a mistake.